I know. I know. Right. What are you doing? No. Oi. Easy. Good girl. Come on then. Good girl. Okay. Can you see me? Can you hear me? What is the quality like? Or more importantly, can you see easy? Current key. All good? Brilliant. Okie dokie. This is going to annoy me with this keep clicking up. I don't know what all that means. Just stop asking. You can all see Easy there being a cute little pickle. If she's gonna do a poo. Look, live on TV, she's gonna do a poo. Right, hang on. Excuse me. Just hang on 2 seconds. Look at the wall instead. Oh dear. Right. Shall I just give up now, everybody? Shall I just give up now? You cheeky little monkey, you've just been outside. Right. Okay, so in true Joe fashion, it's just all going to poo. Right. Okay. Third time lucky. Otherwise, I'm going to just go and start drinking the gin. So, following that, I think the first thing I'm going to talk about. Following that, let's say the first thing I'll have a quick wrench. You can't see me now. Can you see me now? Come here, Munchkin. Can you see and hear me? I think attempting to record this or something it's just not working. Can you hear me, Linda? Oh yeah, I had to turn it round, Karen, because she did a huge poo. she did a huge poo, which you didn't need to see. Literally, I never work with children and animals, so yeah, the Yeah, that's why I turned you around to face the wall so that you didn't have to witness me bending over, quite frankly. So yeah, the first thing I might talk about is puppy house training, which, do you know what? She has been absolutely excellent at house training. I'm not going to lie, she's going to go for a nap now. So she has been excellent, but today has been a little bit different. So she's had a friend over to play, and they were getting really, really excited and just having a wonderful time. And then all of our house training for the up to date seems to have gone out the window. And she just seems to have forgotten everything today, all of the excitement and everything for today. I put her in the garden prior to our lovely live video to try and ensure that she'd eliminated everything. But apparently she had some spares to share with you. She got a bit of stage fright, apparently. And yes, so when it comes to puppy house training, first of all, you're going to need some really cool cleaners. So these two are my favourites. This one's got a little cleaning thing on it. It's got a little scrubby brush, so I can really get down. Obviously, if you've got hard floors or something, you don't necessarily need the scrubby brush. But as you can see, I have cream carpets, which with a puppy and 4 other dogs is just the right thing to do. And then your enzymatic cleaner as well. Oh, look. So up against where she's playing at the moment is her mirror. So she's playing with the other Easy right now in the mirror, and it's the sweetest little thing. And yeah, she's playing with the other puppy right now, which is just sick cute. So yeah, you're going to need your cleaners on standby. Generally the whole time. If you've got to be careful when it comes to your puppies. But if you stick to kind of the golden rules of puppy training, so whenever they have stopped doing something, and obviously you're not fighting with your computer and just completely forgetting about what's going on in the background with your puppy, as soon as your puppy has stopped doing anything at all, sleeping, playing, eating, training, whatever it is, if they've just suddenly gone, out in the garden. That way you can keep it nice and consistent to teach them that's where they're going to go to the bathroom. If you cannot watch your puppy, like I couldn't because I was arguing with my computer, in theory I should have put her in a pen. But I was getting too frustrated because this is technical stuff and I can't think of a million things at once. So you are human, you're not infallible. Things are going to just mishap. And all you need to do is just go and grab your cleaners, clean it up and move on. It's not her fault, it's your fault, as it were, my fault, because I didn't put her away. I didn't make sure that she'd done all her messes and everything like that before she went on live TV. So yeah, hopefully she's got all of that out her way. What I do with my puppies is, because I don't want them just running around the garden and just saying, woohoo, look, a leaf, a bit of grass and everything like that, because everything's just so exciting for puppies. It's just so incredibly exciting for puppies. You can put them out in the garden and they can just completely forget why they were going out there in the first place. So I restrict the amount of access they've got to my garden. So I might have a pen outside, so they've only got a small amount of area to explore and go to toilet in. And of course, if you keep this area quite small and compact, there are going to be all her previous scents to encourage her to go again. And I actually keep her time in the garden quite restricted as well. So I don't just let her go out there for a free-for-all, because again, especially at this time of year, things blow around. There's a leaf. Oh, look, there's a cobweb. Oh, there's this, oh, there's that. And, you know, at the moment she gets excited over a blade of grass, which again is just the most cute and adorable thing, you know, at this stage when everything is just new and exciting. And it's like, oh my God, it's grass. Oh my gosh. They forget they've got to go to the toilet. So what I tend to do, and what I didn't do again today, is that when they've been outside, if they've performed a number 1 or a number 2, fabulous. I'll generally give her access to the rest of the house. She can play games and she's ever so good at entertaining herself. She's really, really good. But if there is no performance, then back in her pen. So that at least if she does suddenly decide, oh, actually, I did really need to go, it's on this bit of lino here. So I just, in her pen, I just went to the I got that years ago, just from one of the local carpet shops, and you get the offcuts of lino. So I just have that under her pen. It just saves with all. I don't use puppy pads. I don't use newspaper or anything like that. Anything that's just going to encourage her to go indoors. I don't use anything like that. I just use my own, albeit poor today, observational skills. So I did actually catch just one little bit on video last night of her in the garden, and I posted that onto YouTube to see if you can all spot that while she's having a play and a run round, when when she suddenly goes, oh, I need a wee. So, and I nearly caught one the other day on video as well, because it's really interesting that when you are just watching your puppy be all cute and adorable, when that suddenly a little switch goes, oh, I need the toilet. So you can kind of watch and get used to think, hang on a minute, it's just switched on, let's get my puppy in the garden. So that for the first couple of days with Easy, when she'd finished doing anything, I'd say, okay, let's go in the garden. And I'd pick her up and take her out into the garden. But of course, as I've then started over, just with this repetition, I've conditioned that cue of garden. So she knows that's where we're going to go now. So now all I need to say to her is, let's go to the garden. And she'll just toddle along, and she'll just run off on her own now. And she's actually just getting the idea now where she doesn't even wait for me. You see that switch on and she just runs to the back door now. Unfortunately, she's too quick for me, so she's getting there before me. And of course, she's not quite got that little bit of control yet to wait for me. So generally, by the time I've got there, she's had a little tinkle. But then she'll go back outside and she might do a little poop or something like that. So that's coming along really, really well. I'm really, really pleased with her house training. She only gets me up once in the night, and it's usually between 3 and 4. So she goes to bed about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and then she'll sleep around till 3, 4 o'clock. She'll go out and she'll do a wee and a poo, and then she'll come straight back in and go back to bed till about 6:30, 7, and one morning it was 8 o'clock, and I actually had to get her up because it was, past her breakfast time. So the house training is going along really, really nicely, considering she's only been home a week. So just while I'm on the subject of house training, does anybody have any questions around house training or anything like that? Are you having any difficulties with house training? Obviously, maybe don't listen to me what I'm saying right now, because today's not been a good day on the house training side of things. But we all have those off days, and it has just been one of those crazy days that we're all used to. Oh, she's playing with the other Easy in the mirror again. It's just, yeah, it's too cute. I will. I don't know how quick the comments do to come through on this, and all these weird things keep popping up and getting in my way, so I just have to keep clicking on it. So if you have any house training questions, then obviously just pop it in the comments there, and I can come back to that. Hopefully she's not going to do any more. She does. What are you doing? You're going to have a nap now, or you're going to do some more wheeze and poos? She says, yeah. So you don't tell him off, Louise. It's your fault if he's done a wee indoors. If they do a wee or poo indoors, it's our fault for not watching them. So you have to watch them completely. So that if there's a point where you think, oh, crikey, I've got to go make a cup of tea, I've got to do this, I've got to go and do that, and you can't watch them, they need to be in their pen or their crate. Because generally, our pups don't like to wee or poo in their bedding area. So like little madam here, she's just had a little wee and a poo indoors. It's only purely because I was not watching her enough. I wasn't watching her do her little tells, where she picks up pace and she'll go and she'll just start sniffing the floor, and that's her little tell of, oh, I'm looking for a toilet place. So she'll just go. So when she's looking for a wee, when she's thinking about doing a wee, she will do a little trot and sniff. When she's thinking about doing a poo, she has a bit more panic and she's actually running and sniffing. So she's got some quite obvious tells about what she needs to do. And she's learning her cues as well, so that when I do take her outside, I go wee wee, and she'll do her wee wee, and I'll do poo poo, and she'll do a poo poo. She's actually got it down to quite a fine art now, that I can let her out in the garden, and she will do one or the other within 30 seconds or 60 seconds, and then she's back in. So in this sort of weather, she's actually usually finished by the time I've got my shoes and my coat on, which is perfect, because then I just come back indoors and take my coat and shoes off and think, why did I bother? But yeah, we never tell them off, because obviously what happens if we tell them off, then they actually start to do it in secret, because they think, oh, I need to go to the toilet, but I can't do it in front of mum because she's going to yell at me. So I'm going to go and do it somewhere in secret. So we never tell them off. It's our fault if we have not kept an eye on our puppies to see when they're likely to need the toilet. So if we're always watching our puppies after they've eaten, after they've played, after you've done some training, after they've woken up, if you follow kind of those simple rules, as soon as they stop doing something out in the garden, it's really going to help you get on track of things, and then think, hang on a minute, when I stop doing something, that's it, I'm going to need the bathroom. And it will just start to progress longer periods between them needing the toilet. So it might be, they need the toilet every hour, and then it'll become every 2 hours, every 3 hours. But if you can't watch them, they need to be in their crate or their pen. That's the simplest thing. And if you're not watching them, like I wasn't with her, it's just my fault, and I just clean it up, and that's it. It's happened. It's done. They don't know that they're being told off for something that they did. They just start to think, well, hang on a minute, why am I being yelled at? What did I do? They live in the moment, our dogs, so are they being told off because they were sitting on the sofa? What are they being told off for? So they don't know. So it's completely our fault. So yeah, biting. I hope that makes sense, Louise. But yeah, you don't tell them off. Don't tell them off at all. It's it'll just go and hide and do it in secret in the end, and that's the worst thing, because you suddenly start getting a funky smell a couple of days later, and you're like, something around here, and you find it all. So what do you do now? So biting. Yeah. So where's we going? Oh, jumping up here. Bites and chew. So what I'll do is we'll kind of cover some of that with what Rochelle's asked about biting, and so some of this is probably going to, that doesn't surprise me. So it's still at 9 months old, he's going to be teething. And you've got to remember that their puppy teeth, I just want to make sure I've got it the right way around. He's got 28 puppy teeth. Now, he would have shed those 28 by 9 months old. And his 42 adult teeth should pretty much be about in. But they're still going to be cutting through, and they're actually going to be setting in his jaw. So they're going to be really uncomfortable in their jaws until they have completely finished teething. So you need to make sure. Oh, she's gone up the stairs. What are you doing? Come here. I've got the stairs blocked. She's climbed over the wood. She's never work with children and animals. Seriously. Okay. So the desire for chewing is really, really, really strong. So you need to make sure that there are plenty of things that he can chew around. So I really like the softwood chews. You do hear a lot of things about some of the antlers and things like that they can crack teeth, etc. I've not experienced it myself, but I know people that have. So I tend not to have the antlers and the harder chews around for my puppies. I prefer sort of like the olive wood, because they do like to chew on the wood furniture and things like that. When it comes to your shoes and your clothes, your shoes just need to be well out of the way. Don't leave your shoes around. Even at 9 weeks old, she's already picking up my shoes and running off with them. She thinks, yeah, this is a brilliant game. This is, this smells of my mum. I'm going to run around with these and play. So things like that you don't want being chewed need to be well out of the way. If you leave anything, she's on one tonight. We've got witching hour. Why did I decide to do a live during witching hour? So I hope you got, I don't know why I'm chatting along. She's having another pee. Having another pee. See, look, she only did one like 15 minutes ago. So, and now she's trying to electrocute herself on some cables. Easy. Let me just go and mop up that pee. Oh, at least you did it on a toy. At least you did it on a toy. So when hang on, all these, I'm getting lost in some of these comments. You need to make sure that they've got toys around, chews around, to chew on. To chew on. Anything that you leave lying around is fair game. As you can see, I've got loads of toys about. I've got too many toys, but these are actually my adult dog toys. She's decided she prefers those to her baby toys. If you go up those stairs again, we're going to have words. How are you doing that? Oh, she's off. She's bonkers. She's bonkers. Destroying clothes and shoes. Make sure they're not around. Only things that they're allowed to chew should be around. And again, if they've got something that they shouldn't have, i.e. they've got your shoe, don't make a huge fuss about it. Get another toy and swap it out. Don't just go nuts. Ah, no, they've got my Gucci. They've got my Gucci. You shouldn't have left your Gucci lying around. You need to swap it out, because if you make too much of a fuss that they've stolen something, it's going to turn into a game, and they're going to start stealing even more and destroying even more. So you just need to cool and calm. Say, oh, you're so clever. You found my Gucci. That's amazing. Wow. Look, I've got some other cool stuff over here. And I'm going to remember not to leave my Gucci out. So when it comes to jumping up and everything like that, what you need to, when you say that he's hyperactive, you have got two very intelligent and active breeds bred together there. So you need to make sure that you're keeping them enriched with what they actually need on those breeds. And I would concentrate on things like scent work for them with a spaniel and a beagle. And if they're jumping up at people, what are the people doing to encourage him to jump up? And if you don't want him on the furniture, then you need to train them to be elsewhere on their bed and build more value on where you do want them to be. Rochelle, back to the biting. Are you still here, my lovely? I can't see if you're... It doesn't tell me who's in or not. Oh. I've got no idea what she's up to. What are you doing? What are you doing? I'll go on to biting anyway, Rochelle, and hopefully that you're in here. So I'm going to assume, for the sake of this at the moment, that you mean sort of biting on the hands and things like that, and just getting a bit excitable. So one, if I see something in the world, I go, oh, look at this. I get it with my hands, because I've got thumbs. Our puppies don't have that way of engaging with the world. The only thing they've got as a hand is their mouth. So they're going to test things with their mouth first. They're going to see it and go, oh, can I pick that up? I'm going to pick it up. Please don't do another poo or something like that. Oh, do you want to go? Hang on. So they're going to pick things up. Most things are going to be via their mouth. What we can do is, when our puppies are really cute, like this stage, we go, oh my gosh, you're so cute, and we can make a bit of a big fuss, and hands become a big thing. You know, food comes from our hands, toys, we play with them. My first and foremost things to kind of look at when it comes to biting, and again, I'm assuming this is biting of hands, is one, my first port of call is making a little high-pitched squeak noise, like litter mates would have done together. And that's how they learn their bite inhibition as puppies. That's my first port of call, is a high-pitched squeak. And I'm not going to do this now because I don't want to worry her, because obviously she's just sitting in her bed, like the bestest little girl in the world, like just amazing. That's my first port of call. My next port of call, if that doesn't work, is then I just stand up and ignore, as if to say, right, I am not talking to you if you are going to continue biting me. And then if they still continue and they start, yanking on the clothes and doing all this, pulling on the trouser legs and things like that, I'm like, okay, so we've just gone a bit over the top for whatever reason. We're more than likely, when it comes to puppies, the whole mouthy stuff can generally be about this time, this witching hour, when they're just getting a little bit of extra energy from their last meal and they just start to go a bit silly. It's usually around the witching hour where this hand bitey gets worse. It's just, do you know what, I'm just going to give you 10 minutes with a chewy or something in your bed, and generally what will happen at that point is they actually just fall asleep because they're overtired. So that's one of the main things when I notice puppies getting more bitey and handsy, is when they're actually just overexcitable and overtired. So at that point, you need to just calm it down a little bit, and maybe that's when you can start practicing your sit. So you don't, okay, no sit, we're not going to do the hands or anything else like that. And if that's still not working because we're pushing it up a level, say, okay, let's just give you a little bit of a nap. Let's just pop you away because you're destroying all my clothes. What I do not do, if I've got a puppy attached to me, and I did a little video on this the other day, I don't know if I've posted it yet, that when your puppy is attached to your clothing, which, let's face it, okay, our clothes flap around. I'm always in really baggy clothes. That's a cool tuggy toy to just hang on to. And of course, if we start moving and walking around, we're just playing tuggy, like, oh no, get off. Well, we just turn into their own personal squeaky toy at that point. It's just a giant squeaky toy. So the best thing to do, again, if they're biting and attaching themselves onto your clothes, which, let's face it, it's always going to be our baggy trouser legs or our dressing gowns in the morning, something like that, is avoid wearing the baggy clothes where possible, or if I am wearing those baggy clothes, I need to accept that they're potentially going to get holes in them. I can look really super sexy and tuck all my trouser legs into my socks and hopefully remember to undo it and take them out before I go out the front door, although I haven't for a couple of times recently, so I have gone out looking just like I should be. I've lost my bicycle. But if they are attached onto me, I'm going to stand still and I'm not going to make a fuss, because I should be wearing clothes that I'm quite happy to get little holes in and things like that, because they have needle sharp crocodile teeth, and again, it's going to be breed dependent. Some dogs are going to be a lot more mouthy and a lot more painful than some other little dogs. The other big dogs, little dogs, they're all going to vary a little bit. And I'm then going to exchange that piece of clothing out for a toy or something else that I might have around, and I will start working on my sit. I can also start working on my what I call thank you, which is take it out your mouth, thank you. And then I'm going to swap that out for a treat, a toy, or even just a tickle under the chin. Oh, good girl, she's so clever, and scratch and tickle her chest. So working on a sit already with Easy is proving really vital as just a way of getting her just back to thinking about things that are a bit more acceptable to do rather than being attached to me. So I can ask her to just do a little sit, and she's likely to then let go of what I've got going on, and then I can say, oh, good girl, good sit, thank you, good girl, good sit, so that she's no longer then attached to me. So yeah, then my first port of calls, Rochelle, first is the high pitched squeak, which tends to work so well, but you don't overuse it. If it doesn't work that first time, move on to the second bit, which is stand up, walk away, and just become a tree. What I call buffet closed, bar closed, whatever. I am not talking to you. If that still doesn't work, you're just going to have a little nap, because you are overtired, overexcited, and we can't have a conversation about this basically because you're off on one in the easiest possible way. So I've got those three stages that I work through. Thankfully, really, with Easy at the moment, the high-pitched squeak works just really well. She takes that on board pretty quickly. It's just during this witching hour, which most of us will experience, that witching hour, that's sort of between 6 and 8 o'clock, depending, where they just absolutely fly off the handle and go really, really silly. And you can start to prepare for that happening. You can make sure that you can do some training, you've got some toys about, you don't want to add any more energy to it and make it all, and have some really active games going on or anything like that. Just keep it cool and calm. And you can always go out in the garden, just have a little walk around in the garden. If your puppy's able to go outside, Easy's not able to go outside for proper walkies yet, but I can always take her out in a little pushchair thing, which mortifies me, but it's really good for her. Generally, between that witching hour, she will actually make a bigger fuss about being in the buggy, because she's just a bit, so she's almost better off just mooching in the garden, and I'll just go outside with her and we'll do some sits and practice a little bit of recall, but otherwise I let her do her own thing. So hopefully that helps it's gone a little bit heavy into it at the biting, but I do the 3 stages: high pitched squeak, bar closed, time out, as it were. Go and have a little nap. You need a nap. You're overtired, you're overexcited, and you just can't listen right anymore because you're woo. So yeah, at the moment she's just sitting under the table, chewing on a cardboard box. So entertaining herself. She's fabulous, absolutely fabulous. Right, Morgan, are you still here, Morgan? I have a 6-month-old Cavapoo. He is very energetic and superfood obsessed. He actively goes after all food, steals out of my children's hands, and will shove them away from the table to jump up and steal the food off their plate. I can't always keep him separate when they have food. I haven't had the issue this strongly with... Oh, where's that gone? I've lost it. Oh, where's that gone then? Oh, okay. Haven't had this issue this strongly with my other dogs. He's so obsessed with food. I feed him a lot, but maybe it isn't enough. Feeding guidelines on your whichever food you're feeding, Morgan, is the weight that you want to. You check your weight and your guidelines on that as per your food and their feeding guidelines. So you can always check that. If he's super energetic and if he's food obsessed, certainly you need to do your best to keep him away from the kids. Okay, so if your dog, your puppy, whatever, if they can do something, if they're deciding to do something, it's serving them a purpose. So if just on that one occasion he can steal a bit of whatever it is off of your kid's plate, then he's going to keep trying, because just occasionally it wins, it pays out. So he's going to keep trying. So you've got to keep him away from the kids. The kids have either got to eat at the table, he's got to be in a crate, a different room, because otherwise he is going to keep trying that, and it's probably just going to get worse. Then what I would suggest is teaching him that he's going to settle on a particular bed or blanket while your kids are eating, and then you can reinforce him for staying on his bed, blanket while the kids are eating. So it's working kind of on a settle element of things for that one. But for the time being, you don't want him practicing that behaviour, because if he can practice it, it's going to continue. It's as simple as that. I mean, I'm food obsessed. You know, you try and keep me away from a packet of Jaffa Cakes, it's not going to happen. By the way, thank you for all my Jaffa Cakes, everybody, at Christmas. I now have enough Jaffa Cakes to keep me going till Easter. Yeah, Morgan, if he can practice that behaviour, it's going to continue. Simple as that. Kiddies eat at the table, don't drop anything on the floor, but ideally keep him away and then start training him a settle or a place so that you can all happily eat wherever it is you want to be. If you want to eat on the sofa, you want to have a picnic on the floor, wherever you want to eat, your puppy is going to stay in their place while you do these things. You have to build it up, have to work on it, but I'm not sure whether any of my little freebie booklets that are on my blog cover settle. I know that one of the quarterly dribbles that is on my blog does cover settle. I think it might be the spring or summer one from this year. I want to say it's one of the 2022 quarterly dribbles. 2023. One of the 2022 quarterly dribbles does have in there about settle. So go onto the blog, search for your quarterly dribbles, and settle is in one of those from 2022. I can't quite remember which one though, but I want to say it was the earlier on in the years, maybe the winter might have been. But anyway, there's one on there of how to work through settle. Right, Penny, if you're still here. Not puppy training related at all, but so cute. Flick has come over. Well, Flick's still got sandals. Flick has come over having heard your voice. Oh my gosh. And she's cocking her head and sitting so nice. She's asking for it. Is it possible that she remembers you? Absolutely, she remembers me, Penny, without a doubt, because I remember her and her sandal. Okay, I mean, I don't know how many years ago that was, Penny. It might, I literally, 8 years? Maybe more than 8 years. I literally... Literally, it's got to be many years, but absolutely she's going to remember me because we had so much fun. We had so much fun. She's not going to forget that at all. So hi Flick, I remember you and your sandal. So all right, we'll use 4th glade, and he's having the right amount by that. So yeah, you know, if he's having the right amount and it's all a complete food and everything like that, I mean, I'm always eating way more than I should, and it doesn't work out very well for me. If you are concerned on anything like that, then definitely speak to your vet. If you're worried about that your dog is almost always a bit more hungry, and again, if they're a little bit more active, you might need to increase the food a little bit more. But if you're concerned on that dietary side of things, then you either do need to speak to your vet or get referred to a dietitian or something like that. For easy. If she looks like she wants more food, I do give it to her, because I certainly don't want my puppy wanting for food at all. So I'm quite happy that's my puppy to make that decision with. If any of my dogs, generally, unless they're turning out a bit like me with one too many Jaffa cakes, if they look like they want some more food, they can have it. But also it can almost be, how are you feeding? Are you just feeding straight from a bowl? Fourth glade is, I'm assuming it's the moist one in the trays. You can put that in a Kong, a licky mat. Are there other ways that you can use, like if we suddenly have a bit of a binge and we just scoff the food in, we don't really know it's going down. But if we're actually out for a meal and we're taking our time, we get fuller quicker. So can you think about the different ways of how you're feeding your puppy as well? So that's another thing. Karen, if feeding kibble, the feeding guide is for predicted adult weight, and age related, not the weight the pup is now. Had a lot from people. Exactly. So it's the predicted adult weight that you need to go with. You're all very welcome. Definitely, Penny. Definitely. It's been so many years, but absolutely. So what other things that we have? So we've kind of covered toilet training, chewing, biting, chewing things they shouldn't, destroying things they shouldn't, house training, which is, she's not done anything else since. So 2 wheeze and a poo on a live. In 45 minutes she hasn't done that much. I'm like, why are you doing this to me? So when it comes to sort of overnight, let's have a quick chat about overnight. So I'm very clear with my puppies. You can hear the others whinging because they can hear my voice now. When it comes to overnights and getting our puppies sleeping through the night, I'm very clear. I have it very structured for my puppies, so they know what they can expect, what they can expect at kind of whatever that is that they might be asking for. So it easily wakes me up once a night. To go for a wee and a poo. I think I've already mentioned about 3 o'clock. I'm very clear with her that I don't make a big fuss. When she wakes me up, she just does one little bark, and that's all it takes. And I'll be up and I'll be taking her out into the garden. As previously mentioned, I've limited the amount of time that they go in the garden, so I don't let her just go out for a wander and a sniff. She's got a couple of minutes, and if she's not done anything, she comes back in and she gets in her pen, and then I put her back out again during the day. So she knows that in the middle of the night, she's only got a limited amount of time. But of course, she's normally pretty desperate and she knows what she needs to do. And she's normally done literally within a minute at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I know all I need to do is carry her down the stairs. I carry her through the house because I don't want to get too distracted. And I know she must be really desperate. Pop her out in the garden and then it's straight back in, straight upstairs, back to bed. And I don't chat to her. I don't engage with her. It's just a very simple outside, back indoors, bed. There's no playing, there's no excitability. It's just, here's your toilet, we're back in bed. And I have not had a problem with my last 3 dogs doing it this way. I will never change the way I do it, because if I don't get my sleep, I don't know what I'd do. I have to have my sleep. I'm not good if I don't have sleep. I'm bonkers enough as it is. Can you imagine what I'd be like without any sleep? It would be impossible to be anywhere near me if I didn't have any sleep. I do sleep and start off with my dogs in my room. Now I know this isn't ideal for everybody, and you know that's fine. That's up to you. I personally like to transition my pups from where they've been with all their litter mates and everything for everything they've known in their life to then suddenly just be somewhere else, you know, whether it's your only dog and they're suddenly just in a kitchen on their own or anything. Still absolutely fine. You know, some people will just say, oh, well, let them cry it out and they'll be all right in a couple of nights. Well, sometimes they might be, sometimes they won't be. Personally, it's not quite for me. I'd rather not. So I do have Easy in my room, and she does start off next to me in my bed, so she knows that I'm there. And obviously I've got my other dogs around, and they're allowed upstairs. My dogs can sleep wherever they want. They'll choose to be upstairs, in the living room, wherever they want to be. I don't mind. It's their prerogative, because when you see them through the day, they'll move from one spot to another to be a bit more comfortable, just to, I don't know, stretch, have a shake, whatever. So I give my dogs the freedom to do that. Generally, Beans will stay on my bed for most of the night. Dexter varies. It kind of depends how cold it is. If it's colder, Dexter will be closer to me. The warmer it is, the further away he will be. Alan, again, temperature based. If it's cold, Alan will be on my head. I'm not joking. He will wrap himself around my head. The warmer it gets, the further away Alan gets from me. And I've always got my bedroom window open a crack, so Alan quite likes to be under the bedroom window. Cassie, she's very aloof. She will just generally be on one of the chairs. That's generally her sleeping spot, is down here in the living room. She's quite happy, or by the front door if she gets hot. She likes to be near a draft, or otherwise she'll curl up. Easy, I don't know how she'll be. She can do whatever she wants, but she will not have free access until she's about 12, 16 months, maybe 18 months, depending on when she stopped chewing and obviously house training and everything like that. When I can trust her, that she isn't going to just go and destroy things or overnight and just have a whale of a time. So it's normally about 16, 18 months I start to give my dogs a little bit more freedom for where they are overnight. And again, the same for when I'm going out. They don't have full freedom to run around and go crazy until I know they're kind of past that excitable puppy stage. Obviously, Easy's my 5th dog, so I can't have one dog upsetting the other dogs. I need them to all kind of be in harmony together, to be able to sleep at the same time, to be able to rest at the same time. So I can't have a little puppy running around and potentially getting injured by the others, when the doorbell goes or something like that. So she will, until she's safe and happy, she's going to be in there for a bit. Barking at you. Okay, so Rochelle, I'm sure you've got a copy of my book, Ban the Bark. I'm sure you have. I'm positive you've got a copy of my book. Why? Why is your puppy barking at you? So there's always a reason for a bark. Yeah, okay. So why? What is it doing? Is it probably, just a guess, puppy attention seeking? Or is your puppy copying Phoebe? Which way? If it's attention, like this, can you hear Alan whinging behind the doors? I don't know if the microphone's picking that up, but Alan is behind these doors whinging his little head off right now because he wants to be in here. And that's attention seeking. Now, if they're at the, so attention. If they're at the back door, I'm going to listen to that bark. If I get a bark at the back door, woof, I need to go out for a wee or poo, I'm going to listen to that bark. If the doorbell goes, I'm going to listen and pay attention to that bark. With 5 dogs, or Easy's not joining in yet, but with 4 dogs in my house, when the doorbell's gone. Okay, I'm not going to lie. It's something I can resolve quite happily. Some of you may have a few years ago seen where I tied my doorbell to the magic Furbo treat dispensing camera machine, so that when my doorbell went, it would tell the magic treat dispensing thing to throw a treat in the other room. So it started to condition my dogs that when the doorbell went, they'd run to the other side of the house and get a treat. You've got to keep these things up though, and I just don't have time. And I'm quite happy for my dogs to bark when there's something outside. I'm a girl. I want to have some protection around me. I want people to know that I've got a dog, and you can't come in and, I quite like my dogs to bark at the door. When I've got 4 going and they're all just feeding off each other, it can get a little bit loud, but they do soon settle down. But I'm quite happy with it. It's a case of what bark are you happy with. When it's attention seeking, the easiest thing to do is just turn around and walk away. But what you've got to remember is you've got a flip side of the coin. So you'll hear a lot of people say, oh, just ignore the behaviours you don't want. Just ignore it. It'll go away. But you've got to teach your dog the other side of the coin. What do you want instead? So easy is learning what we call sit to please. So if easy wants something, easy's learning that if I sit, I can indicate what it is that I want. It might be attention, it might be this, it might be that. So if you want attention, sit. Don't yell at me. If you yell at me, I'm going to turn around and walk away. But if you're trying to get my attention, what is it for? Is it attention to go out in the garden? Is it just because I want you to play with me? Is it because of this? I never, ever, 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 ever engage with that, because otherwise I end up with this dog that just keeps bringing me balls or toys, woof, woof, toy, book, just this constant need of just this attention. So they will never, they don't get anything for me. Otherwise they start coming along, they start whacking you, and Dexter does this. Dexter's terrible for it. Bless him, but Dexter, I let him get away with murder because he's my special boy. He can do no wrong. He's my special boy, he's my Dexter, so he can do whatever he wants, and that's it. He's my special boy. So they'll find out these ways to get your attention. And I'm teaching Easy, who's fast asleep right there, bless her. Fast asleep right there, which I don't want her asleep because she's not going to sleep through the night now. I thought I would be showing you some actual training, but she's zonked. She's just gone. She's a perfect little puppy. Yes, so the attention, no. And if it became incessant, is it tight? Are you getting a bit over the top? Is it witching hour? Do you need a little time out? Do you need a little rest away from me, because I'm not going to be yelled at? I don't like it. I don't like it. It's a little bit of barking for certain situations is fine. Somebody's outside, somebody going past you, alert me to stuff. But attention seeking, I won't have it. And that is what Alan is doing back there now. He's desperate to get over here, and he's whining, because he wants to come in here. He knows that, when I'm training my dogs, I tend to have one in here. This is my living room. I tend to have one in here, and we'll be doing some training in here, and then the others will be out there. And of course, I've been doing this live for 45 minutes now or something like that. So I wouldn't normally be training my dogs for that long. So it's just getting he's getting a bit itchy now. He wants to come and join in, and he can't, bless him. This isn't the Alan training show, and he's the last one I choose, because any of you that know it's Alan, it's just, yeah, it's Alan, yeah. I've got lots of different training classes, Louise. Depends what you'd be looking for. We have special puppy classes. We have the IMDT partnership classes. We have confident canine classes. We've got all sorts of different classes. So if it's I can't remember how old you said your pup was, Louise. Was it 9 months? Yeah, 9 months. So what you would want if you wanted a puppy, you would want Pro Puppy on Mondays at something o'clock. Yeah. So the Easy Peasy Puppy Squeezy is for 6 months and under. The Pro Puppy is up to 12 months. So that's the one that I would suggest you start with. Easy Peasy is actually fully booked for January anyway. At the moment, but obviously it'll be back in February. We do new classes the first week of every month, so there's always plenty going on. So probably Pro Puppy on a Monday evening is what you'd want to look for. If you can do daytime classes, then it would be the IMDT partnership classes, which is open to every and any dog. So they're the ones that you can look at probably the most. So Barney often whines as well. So again, when you think about what's he whining for? So if you, like me, I just love a cup of coffee. I don't. I tend to have decaf, but I just like a warm drink. But I'm not much of a tea person anymore. I'm more of a coffee. And my suggestion to so many of my clients is, get yourself your drink or your squash or whatever it is, or if it's at the end of the day and you just need a gin or something like that, and just the one, because otherwise you're not going to get much valid sort of thought done. I thought that was a poop then, but it's not, it's a toy. Write down on a piece of paper what it is that your dog's doing that you'd like to change. So you can just focus on that one thing. So my dog is whining. And then just put on that little piece of paper what's in it for my pup to whine. Why are they whining? Why are they doing it? Is it to get my attention? Is it because they can see a toy that they want that they can't get? Is it what is the reason for them whining, and what do they achieve for it? What's that reason for it? So again, if my dog's barking and I'm saying, "Will you shut up?" They love that. They're like, "Yeah, Mum's barking with me. Yeah, let's bark some more." There's no point in saying, "Will you shut up?" Sometimes we do, because let's face it, we're human and we're just like, "Oh my God." All right, so we're not perfect, we're not infallible. You've got to accept that sometimes you're just going to be human and you're just going to do stuff. But as long as you're consistent most of the time, you're going to win. You're gonna win it all. So you will be fine. But why? Why? So just ask yourself that question. No matter what dog, puppy, any issue you've got, sit down with a piece of paper and say, right, this is the issue I've got. Why is my dog doing X? Why? What's in it for my dog? And that's one of my favourite sort of things to think about. Why is my dog doing that? What is that? What is the reason for my dog to be doing that? And then you can start to think, well, hang on a minute. Actually, if my dog's jumping up at people, so I think it was you as well, Louise, that mentioned jumping up. Okay, why does my dog jump up? Okay, so what does my dog get for jumping up? Well, people will either say, "Oh, you're so cute. I love you. Look at that face. You're so beautiful." Or they might be going, oh no, my white coat. Oh no, oh. Right, well, this is fun as well. We might be going, "Oh no, I hate dogs. No. They love all that. We're just their own personal dancing monkey. So the best thing to do when it comes to jumping up, they're going to be getting attention, or they're going to be trying to grab a toy or a piece of food. They're getting something for it, that jumping up. So the best thing to do when it comes to something like jumping up is we will teach what we call an incompatible behaviour. So a behaviour that's incompatible with jumping up. So for instance, my go-to is a sit. So already, I mean, Easy, obviously, she's still a little baby, so she did still try and jump up a little bit. But again, I'm just working on a solid sit. Sit, so that if she wants something, she'll just come and sort of sit at me, and I'll have to play the guessing game of what it is she kind of wants. But if I build more value in the sit, then when she goes to meet people when she's a little bit older, things like that, she'll be like, "Oh, if I sit, I'll get some attention." So it's working on another behaviour that we'd rather have. So you ignore the jumping up, you know, that flip coin that I mentioned. So you ignore the jumping up, but on the flip side of the coin, you teach the behaviour that you would rather have instead, a sit, because they can't jump up and sit at the same time. That's why it's called an incompatible behaviour. So that's just another thing to think about. Why does my dog do something? Because they're doing it for a reason, basically. So yeah, other puppy stuff. I really should have made a list, but I literally only got in half an hour before I attempted to try and get the computer switched on and get Easy peed and pooped, which obviously didn't work, and then the microphone didn't work and things like that. So I should have made a list, but as per usual, I'm just winging it. I don't want to wake her up, because if I wake her up now, she's going to need another wee, and that means I'll have to just leave you all to it. So I'm just going to leave her asleep, to be honest. And yeah, she's good. She's a good little puppy. I think the biggest issue I have had with her is just toilet training, and it's not even a huge issue, because the only time she's gone indoors is when I've been off the ball, and that's it. If I've just been fighting with a computer, or suddenly reaching for my phone, or getting engrossed in flipping TikTok, you just take your eye off the ball, or your eye off the puppy, and it just goes a little bit skew-iff. It just goes a little bit wonky and a bit wrong. I just literally, I can't think of any major puppy. But has anybody else? Has anybody? Because I don't mind going on for sort of maybe another 10 minutes or so. But obviously, I want to make sure that she doesn't sleep too much, so that I can get some sleep tonight. So I suppose my schedule with Easy is, I try and keep things. I don't do things on the dot of every hour, because that's just not feasible. My life doesn't work like that. But I try to do things in the same sort of order. So it's okay. We get up. I'll get Easy up anywhere between 6 and 8, depending on what she's like. And And then it's straight out in the garden because we've finished doing something, we've finished sleeping, straight out in the garden. Then I just make sure all the other dogs are sorted and everything, because I don't put Easy in the garden generally with the other dogs. She does go in the garden with the other dogs when I know she's done. But if I put her out in the garden when I know she needs to go with the other dogs, she'll just get distracted. Because again, a leaf and a bit of grass is more, she sees that, she'll forget to go for a wee. So I try and keep it as simple as possible. So being in a multi-dog household can change things a little bit. But then I deal with the other dogs, and she might go in her pen just while I deal with the other dogs. Then it's breakfast time. So she'll have breakfast as soon as she's sort of got up, really, when she's been in the garden. So with the other dogs, and then as soon as she's finished, straight back out in the garden. She eats in the pen here. She will only get her food when she sits. I don't ask her to sit. It's just the sit to please. You're welcome, Louise. And she sits before I give her food, and before I open the pen door, she has to sit and I'll open the door. Once she's eaten, back out in the garden. Then I will keep her entertained until about 8 o'clock, when obviously I've got to just start getting ready for work and things like that. In fact, when I go back to work properly next week, it's going to be a bit earlier than that. But she will then go in her pen. She's currently up to about 2.5 hours in here on her own, where she will nap, and just, if she's not tired, she will just entertain herself and play with her toys. And she's got her water bowl in there and everything, so she's got everything she needs in there. If she needs the toilet, she starts creating. If she's just having a whinge because she's just rather be outside or anything like that, she's got a very distinctive whine. But when she actually wants the bathroom, it's very distinctive, kind of, it gets a bit more desperate sort of noise. So we know at that point, okay, she does need to go in the garden. But if I'm not ready to have her out running around being crazy, because I've got emails to do or try and attempt to do some admin or something like that, then she goes back in the pen. Then she'll have some more food at 11 o'clock, where again she's wash, rinse, repeat, eat, out in the garden, free time. Once she's weed and pooed, she can come and have a play around lunchtime and everything like that. So she'll normally be out of the pen for maybe a couple of hours, depending on my schedule. Then it's back in the pen for, again, just some more quiet time so I can get some things done. She'll be fed again at 3, repeat again, and back in and out, and then fed again at sort of 6. I tend not to feed her past 7 o'clock as a maximum, because again, what goes in's got to come out, and I'm already getting up at 3 o'clock for a toilet break. If I give her food any later, then it would probably be at 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock. So I just monitor what's best for her. So 6 o'clock in the evening tends to be a good final point for her, and then again she's sometimes eating at 6-7 o'clock the next morning. She seems to do really well on that routine, and that's her routine. And then in between things like that, then obviously she'll be going out in her buggy, I'll carry her, we'll go to a coffee shop. But that's generally our little routine, and having a routine for your puppy, it just helps keep it really clear, black or white. This is what we do. I'm not going to confuse matters. Things are weird enough for you because you're a little baby and you're finding your footing in the world. So I just keep it really, really simple. Advice on stimulating games for a puppy. Rochelle, you've got another spaniel, I think, haven't you? I know I did see a picture of it quickly. I think it's another spaniel you've got. So when it comes to sort of games for a puppy, I do a bit of everything with Easy, to be honest with you. She's already retrieving. She likes that. Again, you cannot beat anything to do with sniffing, especially, and you know how to do scent work, Rochelle. You know, you're an expert on your spaniels and your scent work. So the scent work, you can start that. You know, you can start doing just simple things for little bits of food, or a favourite toy. Scent work is just brilliant. Again, you know, any of the safe cardboard boxes, I love. I've got one of these, I can't quite see it, but this Amazon, it's one of those Amazon bags rather than the boxes. Any of the Amazon boxes, I prefer boxes and cardboard that haven't got any ink on them, just in case. You don't know, puppies like to chew things, eat things. Any of these boxes, again, with little treats, toys in, you know, make like a little magic box, you know, so there's things that crinkle in it. Maybe it's got a little bell in it. Anything like that is just a new novel experience for your puppies. So things like that for me are really, really essential. Different surfaces, different things to explore, just to encourage that inquisitive nature in a safe way. So I love just doing things like that. I haven't done any scent things with Easy at all. We just playing games. So again, I do toy swaps with her. So we play with one and then we go to another one. Again, sit, you get your toy, sit, and I throw your toy out. It's very much again what breed your puppy is what they might find stimulating, really. So you've got to think about their breed and what they're most likely going to want to do. As Easy as a collie poodle, she wants to really be running around doing stuff. So I've sort of just played running around in the garden, and she just likes things that move. She's quite happy with things that move. And I have sprinkled a few treats here and there, just in a blanket for her to snuffle around, but nothing more than that. Just tiny little bits of pate and things like that, little tiny bits of meat that she can just snuffle around. She's not particularly good at it. My other dogs have been better at finding treats at this age and just snuffling around looking for them. She's getting better. But when I first sort of sprinkled treats, she looked at me like I was a complete weirdo, and why did I do that with her food? And she can't possibly eat off the floor. She couldn't possibly do it, and it's just completely alien. And she's getting better at it. But new 10-week-old puppy with a 5-year-old dog. Best way to get them to learn to live together positively early on. So no worries, Karen. I'm sure you do, Karen. I have no doubt about that at all. I'll see you soon. I have got Judith with Easy. Easy is 9 weeks old now, and I've got 4 other dogs at home. 2 are 11, 1 is 5, and 1 is 3. So what I did originally, being that I've done this quite a few times now, when I knew that Easy was coming home, I had the breeder send me some of her bedding, so it was scented. So her bedding sat in this pen that I'd already pre-made out 10 days before she came home, so that my dogs could just sniff and see, just have this smell around. Depending on how your dog is, obviously. So just here behind these doors, you can see I've got another big doggy gate, like a little child gate. So when I first brought Easy home, obviously it's a bit traumatic for her. There's a lot going on. I kept them separately for a little bit. She knew they were there. They certainly knew she was there. And I had Easy in her pen so that she was safe. And I had the pups here, my other pups behind here. And so that they could kind of see each other, but they were just around. They could smell each other. They could see each other. And then once Easy had settled in after a few hours, and I say settled in, but was just not quite so, what the heck's going on? I let one dog through at a time, depending on which one wanted to the most, to be brutally honest. I let the big dogs decide whether they wanted to come through and meet her, because she would be happy to meet them. But I kept her in her pen. And I just did it step by step by step, depending on my other dogs, how they took to her. So Alan fell in love with her immediately. But Alan's quite big, quite bouncy. They've only been actually together about the last 3 or 4 days, I think. I can't quite remember. But that's literally, it's only for a couple of minutes at a time. Because, again, Alan is big and bouncy. Well, he's not big, but he's really bouncy and he's really exuberant. And I don't want a puppy with a broken leg or worse. So I monitor everything. And Alan gets more excitable than Easy does. So very quickly it's then, right, okay, Easy goes away in her pen or Alan goes in a crate, just to keep them separate. The other 3, the 5-year-old and the 2 11-year-olds, aren't particularly fussed about her. My 5-year-old certainly isn't as keen as the rest. So what he'll do, he's actually pretty good. He will just stay away from her. He will make sure he's on the top of the chair where she can't get to. Soon she's going to be jumping up on that chair. It won't be long. But what I do is where my dog that struggles with her the most, he actually comes out with us when I take her out in her pushchair, so that I've got some quality time with him and with her, so I can put them together a little bit more. And then I do little bits of training together, so it will be easy, sit, cookie, easy, and then beans, cookie, beans, so they know that they can be together, and they're still going to get just as much attention from me, and it's not just, hey, you don't exist anymore. Beans certainly does feel like that, I think. I think he's a bit put out. He is a sensitive boy. The other dogs, Alan's only kicking off because he thinks I'm training in here, which means food, and he wants it. So I'm not going to give him anything for this. Obviously, I'm not going to reward the whinging. The two older dogs, the two older dogs are actually fantastic. Obviously, they've had Beans come in as a puppy, Alan come in as a puppy, and now Easy. They're well versed in how to deal with a puppy, and they do it in the exact same way that I've suggested, that if your puppy's doing something you'd rather not, you just turn and walk away. They are so good at it. Cassie especially is just perfect with her, absolutely perfect, because Cassie will just literally look down her nose and go, I don't think so, and will just walk away. Do things together with them, do things separately as well. Just make sure if it's your 5-year-old dog is still getting everything that they need, and if you're spending some extra time with your puppy, make sure that your 5-year-old dog has got a field Kong or a Chewy or something. Obviously, I've been on for so long now, their goodies have long since gone, and he now wants more. And just do it at your 5-year-old dog's pace. So if you're, just make sure that obviously if your puppy is hanging off of your 5-year-old dog's ear and your 5-year-old dog doesn't like that, you might need to step in. Don't let puppy completely harass your dog, or vice versa. Your puppy might go, I don't want to be your friend, and your 5-year-old might go, yeah, let's be friends. So, if as and when they get to that stage of playing, play should be 50-50, generally. So puppies should be playing, older dogs should be playing together, and it should be 50-50. But it doesn't mean that they have to be best buddies. None of my dogs cuddle up together and sleep. Sometimes you see all these really cute photos of dogs just all in this little bundle at home, all snuggled in together. My dogs wouldn't dare do that. Absolutely. No, they're my dogs, they're just, I don't know. I don't want to say independent or something, or they just would rather, you wouldn't catch my dogs cuddled up for toffee. So I don't know why that is, whether it's in their breeding, they've not, I know spaniels like to cuddle up and lurch and things, but don't know. So yeah, just do it at the pace of your 5-year-old dog, to make sure that they're happy, because if they're not, you need to do it sort of at a stage where your 5-year-old dog is happy. So make sure puppy's got time in a pen or a crate, so that 5-year-old dog can be on the sofa with you on the chair and having all the normal hugs and love that they would get before puppy was there. So that's how I generally go about it, and then obviously if anything changes I just adjust. So yeah, I don't let puppy chew on ears too much or anything like that. Puppy, actually that's the worst thing she's done, is, I don't know if any of you have met Alan or seen that. Alan has the longest eyelashes in the world. She's nibbled off his eyelashes. Okay, his eyelashes were inches and inches long, just the most beautiful. She's nibbled off his eyelashes. I could send her back just for eating Alan's eyelashes. I'm like, oh my gosh, what beautiful eyelashes are all gone. But yeah. So yeah, I kind of, I've been waffling on for just over an hour now, so, and I haven't had any dinner yet, and I've got to wake this thing up and play with her a little bit, because, she's not going to sleep tonight now. So, yeah, I really, I mean, considering you wouldn't necessarily know I had a puppy loose in this room right now. So, she's been very, very good. I'm very, very pleased with her. But now I'm going to have to, wake her up. You're welcome. I'm sure you are on the right track, doing lots of what you said. Been a bit of ear biting for the butt, but yeah, exactly. Just step in, because again, Alan is really, really good with her, and he actually puts up with quite a lot, but I don't see why he should have to put up with so much, because I don't want that good nature to not become a good nature. All my other dogs, if she goes and chews on the other dog's ears, they'll and she learns straight away. She will back off straight away. She's really, really good at that. She's not one of these pushy puppies that just keeps trying and pushing it. If she was, again, I'd step in and I'd give her a little time in her crate or a pen, just to say, okay, that's not kind of acceptable. Let's just let you calm down. So you're all very, very welcome. If you need any more advice or anything like that, you know where I am. Obviously, we do have lots of classes all the time. We have classes going on all the time, whether it's at our training centre or whether it's out and about on the life skills classes over at Tilgate Park or anything like that. So yeah, just ask and we're more than happy to help. So I will see you all soon. Yeah, take care and let me know how you're getting on with your puppies, because puppies are the best. They're so cute. So yeah, I'm going to go and wake mine up now, and I'm going to wake her up. First things first, she's going in the garden because I'm not cleaning the carpet anymore tonight. So I will see you all soon. Take care, everybody. And I've got to figure out how to do this.